Anthony Scaramucci is a former White House communications director and former member of the Trump transition team. He's also the founder of Skybridge Capital, LLC.
I don't think any of that's going to make the Trump campaign 2020 advertising, actually. But.
You don't think so? Why do you think he's going to not say those things in 2020?
No. I said the advertising, the paid advertising. I'm making a joke.
You're making a joke. You're making a joke.
At MSNBC, but
sorry, I didn't hear you.
At the end of the day, there are some other sound bites that you could put in there that are not like that. I mean, he's a complex guy. We both know that. You covered him. I read your book. You wrote a great book. He's a complex guy, but he's not a racist.
Then how do you square those comments then, Anthony? Because he's said these things over and over and over again.
The Pocahontas thing was a joke. There was a lead balloon, obviously. The comments that were made last week, I think we're in this sort of weird society now where everybody's iPhone is a studio. It's a camera, and you can't have a private conversation anymore. Dick Durbin can say whatever he wants, but he's in a small room with the President of the United States. They're talking about something. They're trying to get a deal done. There's an expression in Washington about sausages being made, and legislation is a lot like sausages being made. Nobody should ever see the two. And then he's running out to a camera to try to expose and embarrass the President. How is that helping?
Well, it came out in a Washington Post report before Dick Durbin came out and confirmed it.
Somebody had to leak it, right?
Hold on.
So how is that helping anybody?
There is not just Donald Trump having what he thinks is a private conversation. It's Donald Trump's public statements that seem to underscore this idea in the president's mind that if you are not white, then you are somehow less than. I mean, let's just look at some of the things that he said about Muslims, about Latinos, about African Americans. He's tweeting crime stats that show that African Americans kill whites at an unbelievable rate that are just flatly false. There was never an apology for that. So how do you square all of those things together?
But I'm not here really to square it. I'm here to look at outcomes and style. Okay, so we're gonna litigate his style, and we're both gonna accept that he has a unique style. Without that style, he likely doesn't become president. When I was on the campaign and people would joke about his tweets being presidential or unpresidential, and you were there, you wrote about this, presidential tweets got no attention. Unpresidential tweets, quote unquote, got attention.
Why don't you just have presidential tweets if you're the president?
Made him president. Well, I think what he's found is he's been frustrated by the media. Pew Research, not me, says 73% of the stuff said about the president is negative. So he feels he has to go over the top of the mainstream media directly to the American people. When I was there, the 11 short days that I was there, I told him directly, let's not declare war on the media. Let's have an amnesty or an armistice with the media, because it's not going to win. No one's going to win a war with the media. They're fighting with the Wall Street Journal over "I'd" or "I," as it related to the Korean dictator. Let's not do that, okay? The president probably said "I'd," but now we're in a fight because we're at war. So let me just step back for 1 second. Let me just make this point. At the end of the day, he is a very unique character, but he's not a racist. And if you look at his policies, they're clearly non-racist policies. The African unemployment rate in the United States right now is the lowest it's been in 35 or 40 years. Maybe the lowest it's been since they started recording this stuff.
It was already going down under Obama. It was already on its
I understand that, but it's going down even further, and there's more economic growth and there's more economic opportunity today as a result of a lot of the president's policies.
Let's talk about what he does. There is the policy of trying to ban all Muslims from coming into the country, the travel ban, which is just targeting Muslim-majority countries. But then there's also immigration and merit-based immigration. How do you define merit in merit-based immigration?
Well, I think I defined it the way the president and Rand Paul defined it yesterday on Meet the Press, which is people that are eager and want to work. And so I don't think it's defined as IQ scores or racial profiling. It's defined as here's a batch of people that want to work, and they should be eligible to come to the country, irrespective of their education, their race, color, or creed. Specifically as it relates to the Muslim situation, I think he's trying to protect the American people. And
are Muslims going to come in and kill American people?
No, but I think even the Obama administration, when you went back to the Obama administration on economics, let's go back to them on national security. They were analyzing those countries and saying that there seems to be a higher level of threat coming out of those countries. Now, listen, there is a very tough decision to make between civil liberties and protection, and we know that line. The American people deserve to be safe. they also need to be free. And so it's a very, very tough line. I'm not going to sit here. I don't have the information that the president has about what the threats are. But my guess is that these threats are substantial. Both President Obama, President Bush, and President Clinton, in private conversations, have said when you read these intelligence reports, you have to make very tough decisions.
I want to go back to immigration and merit. You define merit for us. You believe that's what the president defines merit as well. When he's having these conversations, he's saying, why do we want more people from these S-hole or S-house countries, African countries, Haiti, et cetera? Why don't we have more people from Norway? How is somebody from Norway, how do they have more merit than somebody from Africa?
Did he say it or did he not say it? Okay, for this conversation.
He did say it, according to multiple people, and Lindsey Graham, who's a Republican and on his side a lot, has not denied it.
Let's stipulate for this conversation that he said it, so we don't have to argue about whether he said it or not. Okay. I don't know if he said it, but just for this conversation, because I want to make a broader point. If you are in a private conversation in the White House with a group of people that you're trying to get a deal done, and you are prone to New York-style rhetorical flourishes, which unfortunately I also happen to be prone to, why do that to the guy? He's there.
But that's neither here nor there. We're both assuming that he said it, as you just said.
Okay, but
why do people from Norway? Why do they have more merit to come here than people from Africa, according to what the president said?
Having known the president for a long period of time, I don't really think that's what he meant. I'm not going to interpret what he meant because I don't understand his mind entirely. But
he also said this in 2013. Why can't we have more immigration from European countries? He said that in public at CPAC. So this lines up with what he's already said publicly. Why does he believe Europeans have more, deserve to be here more than Africans or Haitians?
He's not saying that in a racially charged way.
How can you not say that in a racially charged way? More people from Europe are white. Norway is 83% white. Norway is 83% white. Africa is not.
There's a lot of different
white.
Skin melanin produced in Europe that's not necessarily white.
Anthony, he's targeting. Come on, let's not quibble here. He's targeting Africa. He's targeting Haiti.
I'm really not quibbling.
Latino countries.
You guys want to hit him on style. And he's going to get hit on style until after he wins re-election in 2020. I want to look at substance. He's trying to get a DACA deal done. He said he wanted it to be a law of love. He opened up the system to the television cameras. 55 minutes, the American people got to see who the guy really is, which is a conciliatory, negotiating guy that's willing to, quote unquote, take a hit for both sides and sign the deal. Durbin obviously didn't like that. He said, oh, my God, we're going to have the American people.
Neither did Lindsey Graham, according to Lindsey Graham.
Okay, but oh, my God. No. Lindsey Graham liked the 55 minutes. Senator Durbin didn't like the 55 minutes.
Lindsey Graham said that he spoke his piece to the president. After
the comment, the 55 minutes that were televised on live TV were fantastic, and you're actually seeing the president for who he is. Okay, he's neurologically sound. He's a great deal maker. He's a billionaire entrepreneur. And Dick Durbin obviously didn't like that. And so what he had to do is he had to go out there. The president said something in private. Let's detonate the president so we can get the gun off the bird again, and let's get more morass on television.
Private versus public, Anthony. These are. I mean, he says a lot of these things in public, so I don't really understand why it matters if it's private versus public. Let me just read the list that I compiled. Everybody seems to have this definitive list of the things that Donald Trump has said. Let me go through some of mine. Mexicans are rapists. He announced his presidency with that. Muslim ban. Look at my African American. A Mexican judge can't be there because of his heritage. Hold on. Both sides are to blame after Charlottesville. Elizabeth Warren is Pocahontas. Housing discrimination lawsuits. Muslims are building bombs in their living rooms. Muslims are cheering 9/11 in New Jersey. That did not happen. Muslim wife couldn't speak because her husband wouldn't let her. He implied that. All Haitians have AIDS, according to the New York Times. Nigerians live in mud huts. Birtherism. He championed birtherism. The Central Park Five. Putting Hillary Clinton's face over a Jewish star and cash. I can keep going. African Americans are living in hell. Exaggerating crime stats.
You can keep going.
Retweeting white supremacists. They don't look like Indians to me. Anthony, I can keep going. That's the point.
I'm impressed with what you're doing. This is like perfect for trial advocacy and perfect for a jury, and you got a great production team here. I understand.
No, this is not a production team. These are things that Donald Trump said in a list.
The only one I'm going to give you on the whole list is the Charlottesville one. Again, I said that to the president. I've said that publicly. I don't think you can equivocate on Nazis. I think it's a terrible thing to do. When you really understand the history of the whole thing, there's no equivocation there. Thankfully, he walked that back. On this other stuff, I do think you guys are tightening up around a couple of words that he said. He certainly didn't say that all Mexicans are rapists. He was just trying to say that people are coming over the border. That
Mexico is sending rapists. Some, I assume, are good
but he's
people.
also said that they're not
heart.
From Mexico, right? He says they're from other countries
Anthony,
that are coming through Mexico.
If you could get into the president's ear right now, if you could talk to him and say, hey, listen, there's a good portion of the country who thinks you're racist.
I would tell him to watch your show and read your book.
Listen to me. There's a good portion of the country who doesn't trust you, who's worried about you as a president, who doesn't feel like you are fighting for them. And that, whether or not it's true, they believe it. What would you tell Donald Trump? And could you get him to turn this presidency around to make it so that people across America, not just a certain section of them, believe in this president?
Okay, so listen, I'm not going to be able to do that. But if I were able to do that, a couple of things that I would say, and frankly, and share with you or anybody for that matter, is that he's got to marry the content with style. Because I think that people like MSNBC and other people that don't like the president...
don't make a sweeping generalization about MSNBC.
You just said there was a large group of people.
That's not MSNBC. I'm not going to quibble this.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point. People that don't like the president, let's say MSNBC loves the president, the people that don't like the president, okay, I would say to him, marry the content with style, and your approval ratings will go up. The style is disconnected from the content, but if you look at the broad base of the content, and you look at national security, economics, you look what he did to commemorate and honor Martin Luther King. I thought Kristen was very fair in her reporting on that. And you look at that whole bandwidth of stuff that he's doing, the content is there, the economy is booming, people are doing better. Marry the style with the content, you'll do way better with the people that don't like it.
Can you call him and tell him that?
I could call him and tell him that, but you know, at the end of the day, he's 71 years old. He's going to do things exactly the way he wants to do them. But he's got good instincts. He won the American presidency in 2016. I predict he'll win it again in 2020, and I think he'll get it right. You may disagree with me, but we're going to have fun over the next 3 years watching this unfold.
Anthony Scaramucci, always good to have you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for being here.